Well, the heat is on right now across the Midlands. Good evening. I'm Darryl Hood. Bree is off tonight. Know a lot of you want to know, will Mother Nature crank it up as we head into the holiday weekend? Henry Rothenberg joining us now with the answer. Hey, Henry.
Hey, good evening, Darryl. Later on, Darryl.
Thank you, sir. Well, a Richland County Corrections officer accused of making a bad call. Investigators say Valshawn Frazier sold a phone and charger to an inmate at the Alvarez Glen Detention Center for $125. Cell phones are considered contraband behind bars. Authorities found that phone while conducting a random search. And we now know what caused a Columbia toddler's death earlier this week. Richland County Coroner Gary Watt says 2-year-old Michaela Johnson died of natural causes. Johnson was found unconscious at the North Point Estates on Ripplemeyer Avenue Tuesday. Watt says the baby's death is in no way related to the care of the child. He says she died from complications of an E. coli infection. Other news tonight, 8 adults and 2 kids need a new place to live right now. Their apartments were heavily damaged in a fire at the Gable Oaks complex today in Columbia. Officials say improper disposal of smoking materials is to blame. The good news in all this, no one is hurt. The damage, estimated at $75,000, the Red Cross is helping the affected residents. SC State University tapped out financially tonight. The school wants to draw $1.2 million from an emergency loan from the state to pay employees and make debt payments for the month of June. Last month, the Budget and Control Board approved a $6 million loan to pay the school's oldest unpaid bills. The school's board will meet Friday to talk about ways the school can recover financially. Also on Fox tonight, a plea for help. A Columbia police officer gearing up for her annual summer camp for at-risk youth, but the program is facing some financial challenges right now. Watch Fox News reporter Tony Talley takes a look at how you can help.
A rundown. Watch Fox News.
Well, if you'd like to help out, supplies can be dropped off right now at the Columbia Youth Safe Haven and the Columbia Police Department headquarters in downtown Columbia. New developments tonight in the case against State House Speaker Bobby Harrell. The South Carolina Supreme Court blocking a judge's dismissal of an investigation into corruption allegations against Harrell while the Attorney General's office appeals. The new order allows prosecutors to continue their investigation. A circuit court judge ruled earlier this month that the AG had improperly seated a grand jury in this case. The Supreme Court will hear the appeal on June 24th. Candidates for South Carolina Superintendent of Education making their cases for your vote tonight. This is video of the Democrats taking part in a debate, a broadcast on ETV. There are 4 Democrats competing right now in the June primary. The Dean of USC's School of Mass Communication and Information Studies moderated this event. The Republican candidates for Superintendent of Education also took part in a debate tonight in Camden. Well, cancer survivors feeling the love in Lexington. Hello, looks like a great time. The Cancer of Many Colors event wrapping up about an hour ago. It raises money for the Lexington Medical Center Foundation Care Fund. That event also celebrates the lives of cancer survivors and shows support for those patients still fighting the battle right now. That is great. This is the 3rd year the organization has put on the Cancer of Many Colors event. Well, coming up next, fearlessness and follow-up. Meet a young author who you can help, who says he can help your college student cash in on that diploma in our Family 411 report. Plus, one man's way of trying to motivate kids to stay on the right path in life. That's next. New tonight, he landed the first job of his career a year before leaving college. As at the age of 21, Carl Schlottman wrote a book to help other college students get more out of their education. Special correspondent Sheila Gray is sharing how his secrets for success could help your kids in tonight's Family 411. Impressive guy. Well, Carl started work recently as an investment banking analyst at Wells Fargo. You can check out his website for online resources for students at cashinyourdiploma.com. Sometimes it takes a network of neighbors to make sure kids stay on the right path. It's like the saying, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, one guy hopes his Hugging Your Hood initiative goes global. The creative work teaches kids to have pride in their past, but also gives them a sense of how they can shape their futures. Janet Parker has more. That was Janet Parker reporting. Well, stay with us. Got much more ahead for you tonight. What is Boko Haram, the militant group that's holding almost 300 schoolgirls in Nigeria captive right now? We look at why it's taking the world so long to put a stop to this organization. Plus, the nerve stimulation device that's saving people's hearts these days, how it works, next.
Over the next couple of weeks, because you're about to see something that you have not seen in this market, in the state, and it's something that you have seen only at a national level at times that we're bringing here.
Yeah, and to give you some idea of what this means, this is like a new car. You know, he's got his new clicker right here, and you know, it's just...
We've got the Ferrari of weather systems right now.
It does. It really does look good, though.
Thank you.
Alrighty. In Health Watch, heart failure is the fastest growing cardiovascular disorder in this country right now. It affects more than 6 million people, but now a new device that gets on your nerves could help save those with heart failure. Alexis King explains. And patients take anywhere from 6 to 12 weeks to respond to treatment. CardioFit is already approved in Europe. In the U.S., a multi-center clinical trial is currently recruiting patients. For more stories that help you live well, click on the Health Watch tab right now on our website, watch.com. Next in sports, more baseball tournament action. The Gamecocks trying to stick around in Hoover for another day, but it was not an easy task taking on top overall seed Florida. Derek is in with highlights after the break. Your top story tonight, a Richland County Corrections officer accused of making a bad call. Investigators say Valshawn Frazier sold a phone and a charger to an inmate at the Alvarez Glen Detention Center for $125. Cell phones are considered contraband behind bars. Authorities found that phone while conducting a random search. A look at national headlines now. First Lady Michelle Obama meeting with a group of international education experts at the White House today. Mrs. Obama using the occasion to speak on the kidnapping of hundreds of schoolgirls in Nigeria by the terrorist group Boko Haram. The U.S. and other countries now working to try and find and free those girls. And the girls' kidnappings highlight a growing trend, the use of crime to fund terrorism. Special correspondent Kai Jackson tracks the truth to learn what, if anything, can stop groups from carrying out their criminal activities. Well, world leaders recognize the Nigerian army appears ill-equipped to fight Boko Haram, which appears to be better funded and trained. Up next, China dealing with an act of terrorism right now. Dozens of people killed, hundreds more hurt following 2 explosions at a popular marketplace. Well, cross country, if you haven't heard by now, America has a new American Idol, and he just happens to be from the Carolinas. Fox's Michelle Macaluso takes a look at what's ahead for the newest Idol sensation. On the World Watch tonight, 2 SUVs plowed through a busy market in China, killing 31 people and injuring more than 90 others. It is the latest in a series of violent incidents over recent months that Chinese authorities are blaming on radical separatists. Today's attack causing all shops in that area to shut down. Tensions between Chinese and Muslim separatists have been escalating over the past year. And Thailand's military now running that country after overthrowing the elected government in a peaceful coup, even though democracy has suspended these anti-government protesters, declaring a partial victory. Protest leaders are asking the courts to appoint a neutral prime minister, but so far that hasn't happened. In Washington, the State Department says the U.S. is hopeful that this is temporary and that a new government will be elected soon. And China signs a huge deal to buy Russian natural gas, even while Washington is threatening to punish Russia with more economic sanctions. In Shanghai, Russian President Vladimir Putin sealed the deal with China's leaders. The Russians and the Chinese get says the Chinese get $400 billion worth of gas over the next 30 years. The Russians sell much of their gas to the European nations. Some of them worry Moscow will cut them off if they back more sanctions because of Russian interference in Ukraine. Well, coming up, an elf attacks a warlord, but it was really a car. You'll want to stick around for news of the weird.
Tomorrow, can't rule out an afternoon thunderstorm. Mid-80s Saturday, Sunday, Memorial Day on 86, and we've got 90s with some afternoon storm chances by the middle of next week, Darryl.
In tonight's news of the weird, an elf goes head-to-head lights with a car. Police say a man dressed in a black robe claiming to be an elf thought he was in the midst of a battle with a woman's car in the middle of a Portland intersection. They say the guy told them he thought the car was a warlock, in particular Morgoth from the Lord of the Rings. Driver says he pulled out a sword about 3 feet long, stood on the hood of her car, started stabbing the hood. This is her cell phone video of the incident. Police took the man to the hospital. Apparently he was high on acid. They say he will face charges because of what he did to this lady's car. Good news, nobody hurt.
I would have floored it.
Well, I guess she didn't want to hurt him, but, you know, obviously when you pull out 2 swords at that point...
Does it matter at that point?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So we're going to leave. Are you going to stay with the equipment tonight?
Yes, actually.
We got a fantabulous night ahead of you. Bye-bye.